Okay. Dead body time. The corpse looks at you with bulging white eyes. The face around him does not look human. It's swollen and ready to burst. His lips are fish-like and his tongue is like a ball gag in his mouth. You seem to be holding your breath. Look down. A cargo belt twists his neck at an unnatural angle. The body below appears stiff, letting out an ungodly rot. The smell seeps in even through your clenched nostrils. God, why is it so bad? Active decay. The lieutenant raises a white piece of linen to his nose. It's okay to throw up, officer. No one is judging. It's about to blow. The cup's gonna blow, Kuno. Endurance. Legendary. Let go of your nose without throwing up. What? Nope. The smell is repulsive. It pushes it in from the mouth, more instant and more familiar than anything you'd expect. More fever than odor. It fills your mind, flushing you from within. Blarp. Gross. Feel a great force wringing you from the stomach. Your body curls and pushes it out burst by burst. You probably needed that for a couple different reasons. Till a pool of vomit lies under your feet and your throat sings from the stomach acid. The smell of Commodore Red rises from the pool, among it distilled spirits and bits of shish kebab. Sorry. It's okay. Happens to everyone. The lieutenant hands you his white handkerchief. Keep it. Thanks. The hangover is clearly making this work for you. You could use some ammonia to clear your head. Okay, where do we get that from? There's fruit nearby east of the hostel. They usually have a small apothecary. If they don't, he points to the greenhouse. There's a greenhouse here, and a gardener with a wheelbarrow on the corner of the Whirling in Rags. If she works here, she might have something for the smell. Acquiring ammonia will provide a modifier to the white check modifier and make it easier and allow you to retry them. We'll get it later. Anything new? Lieutenant's handkerchief. Given to you by Lieutenant Kitsuragi. One corner is adorned with lace and a tiny embroidered portiere. What's in the trash can? What's this? The logo of the municipality of Rivisha. I will learn how to speak one day. It'll be great. Trash container's locked. Open it with the key. Well-oiled crack, the lock pops open. It should now be possible to simply raise the lid. Maybe you shouldn't. Open the lid. Inland Empire, I like you, but I will not be made afraid by you. The smell of rotten food rises to greet you. You see soggy cartons, dirty rags, and organic waste. We're just in time. The lieutenant peers in. This hasn't been emptied for over a week. Look under the boxes of carton. See milk and egg rest with a broken egg in it, some pasta wrapper. Picking up the soggy packages somehow feels familiar. Box falls into your hands. Baptiste Soleil cereal. There are plastic pasta new packages below and turbo noodles, nothing of note. The rags. Among the threadbare kitchen towels, something catches your eye. A pair of denim trousers? Pants? As the legs of the slime-covered jeans begin to unspool from the garbage, a rank corpse smell fills the air. The victim's clothes. The lieutenant smells them. Cadaverine odor is faint. If these belong to the deceased, they were removed when he was still in the early stages of decay. Drop them in here, officer. The lieutenant produces a black plastic bag marked evidence from his pocket. Guitar mark blue jeans. Pockets empty. The lieutenant quickly searches the jeans. Or emptied. With them with a belt, too. A wide one. The loop appears stretched out. He looks into the container. And it is missing. That's it. Do you see anything else in there? I have another bag here. Something slimy catches your eye. Drab long-sleeve shirt. Olive-colored appears from the food waste, dripping with pus. Bag it. This is a military-type overgarment. No label or serial number. This is the kind of rib-knit shirt that's worn over light armor to conceal it in an urban scenario. He nods to himself. Anything more? Perception. Trivial success. The rest of the rags are just kitchen variety waste. A yellow old mug that catches your eye, but other than that, thrown out towel, a mug, that's it. Alright. We should go to the guard again and ask if he knows how to put the clothes in the trash. Who put the clothes in the trash? Could be as simple as someone from the hostel cleaning the yard, or that one. He nods toward the red-haired boy behind him. I'd advise against confronting that force. We should probably ask him here anyway. Fuck's he on about, kids? The one behind the fence yells, "You hear that, Kuno? He thinks you're an infant." Say, you think someone from the whirling might have been involved? Not really. All we know is the victim's clothes are in the trash. The lid was locked and this establishment had the key. Just a small loose thread. Okay. Search the food wastes. It's just organic waste, cold and slimy. Apple and potato peels mostly. Unidentified sludge and the occasional chicken bone. Thrown in for good measure, but hey. What's this? What? A blue piece of plastic sticks out from the apple peels. It's shiny. Looks like the corner of something. Pick it out. Damaged ledger. Something larger. A clipboard. A blue plastic one with moist papers hanging from it. They look badly damaged, but you can still make out forms and notes written in a man's handwriting. Officer, is that your paperwork? I don't know what this is. It is, look. He points to the clipboard. The plastic has the RCM street grid on it, and even an autopsy form in there. A miserable looking slip of paper sticks to the board. If you don't mind me asking, how did it get in the trash? Must have been cramping my style. It has a foreboding quality to it. Maybe I needed to lose it for the great bloodletting to begin. What? Think I didn't want to be a cop anymore, so I threw it away? Someone from the whirling threw it in the trash? I don't know. I'm boring. Rather not talk about it right now. Think I didn't want to be a cop anymore, so I threw it away. Well, he doesn't know what to say. Lucky we found it. You should take stock of what remains, just to be sure some has not made it into the hands of the RCM's adversaries. Organized crime and all the like. There might have been police secrets in your notes. I'll do that. It would also not hurt to start taking notes on the case. He peers into the trash where soggy cartons and rags stink uninvitingly. And tell me what your eagle eyes see, or are we finished? Some items such as the ledger are interactable. Go to your inventory and select the interact thing to read your paperwork. The mug, I'm grabbing that. You pick out a broken mug with an oddly racist depiction of the yellow man frolicking in saffron. An antique? Only in its social sensibility. Taking it anyway. The lieutenant briefly glances at the mug, then returns his sight to the trash. Close the lid. The container sounds a muffled gong. Like that. That's one thing off the list. I think we got it all. Check things out. The racist mug. Broken-eared mug someone somehow made its way into the whirling in rags dumpster. It depicts a person of Sumerian descent frolicking in a field of saffron, buck-toothed and grinning feeble-mindedly. Seems to be a cheap knockoff. Use the interact button in inventory to inspect it. I don't know how to do that. Oh, it's just here? Just a racist mug. What did I read here? Not much. It's quite a lot to read into here, actually. Look at all that content. Oh boy, here we go. What are you gonna say about a broken, tossed-away mug that you dug out of the garbage? An example of prejudice? I'm going to use it as an example of what not to do. I'm going to push this in the face of every merchant I find and tell them this your inane ideology? The mug will be useful by denouncing it. I can earn political capital to mask my badass hustling. Jesus, fraud and embezzlement. The mug didn't belong in the trash. It was just a funny mug. Can't anyone laugh anymore? It's an example of what not to do. But it was in the trash. Why not just call it out when you see it? Or do some volunteering work. Just finish your case. Damaged ledger. The ledger you found in the trash, full of notes written in a man's dense cursive. Have a closer look. Maybe it can be salvaged. The ledger you found. A pitiable cabbage of white and yellow papers hanging from plastic board, barely held together by a metal clip. A sad display is made complete by the faint smell of urinal cleaner. Anything else? Piece of toilet paper, or is it cleaning tissue? No, it's toilet paper, desperately sticking to the back of the blue plastic clipboard. It's a metaphor for you. Why are you mean? Inspect the toilet paper. It's just toilet paper sticking to the back of the plastic clipboard. You can take it off if you want. Let's take it off. Still wet, the toilet paper peels off the plastic easily. All you have to do is shake it off your finger, and voila, the ledger now looks marginally better. Inspect the clip. An aluminum block runs the width of the board, biting down on the paperwork. Its crocodile teeth are the only thing keeping the papers together. A regular pencil, the tip worn down to nothing, has been attached to the clip. Run your finger across the aluminum. The surface is interrupted by a silvery sticker. It's rectangular, sparking with iridescence. You don't know how you didn't notice it before. Perception. Medium success. Looks like an official mark, made to be low visibility outside of light circumstances. Lieutenant, is this one of the hologram watermarks you mentioned? What? He's lost in his own notes. It takes a moment for him to see it. Yes, a halogen watermark used for adding information to the RCM property. Interesting. What kind of information? It depends. Aside from an anti-counterfeiting stamp, mine has my station number and address. The information varies by date of issue. How many years you've been on the force? He's thinking, it'll have that. How can I read it? Any capable light with the right wavelength will do. Like? All RCM vehicles have headlights designed to reveal halogen watermarks. Mine too. Interfacing. Easy success. This means you can read the watermarks if you turn the lights on. That's all. Thanks. Okay. He returned to his neatly kept notes. Browse the white papers. They're not exactly white. They're yellowed in patches by sunlight and alcohol and covered in dense blue handwriting. Ink escapes in the watercolor patterns, reaching its tendrils across entire pages. The paper itself is checkered with faint red lines forming short paragraphs. Once in a while there's a red stamp that exclaims, "Case files, commit the paper." The case files themselves are plenty. You count more than 100 sodden, crumpled up, earmarked pages falling apart in your hands. They appear to be sufficiently organized and extremely dense, if mostly illegible. What's in there? What are they about? Work, strife, poverty, jamrock. These are handwritten logs of investigations dating back to January 51st of this year. January of 51 this year, not January 51st. Jeez. Very different calendar. The exact number is hard to estimate due to the missing pages and an odd naming convention. But there are at least 20, maybe 30 cases. Undertaken, not completed, mind you. It's the middle of March. You've attempted 2 cases a week on average. Is 2 cases a week a good caseload, Lieutenant? I gotta take a drink. I'm dying. Huh? He raises his nose from his notes. 2 complex cases to undertake is a lot. Yes, you really have to push yourself. I would not suggest it, lest you start making mistakes. It seems to have been my load. I'm not sure I completed them, though. 2. He raises both eyebrows. That is a lot. I didn't mean to say you're making mistakes, by the way. That was presumptuous of me. I'm sure I made plenty. That's okay. He nods and turns back to his own case files. We all make mistakes. A fan of gills, the check papers dry in your hands. Like a fan of gills, the checkered papers dry in your hands. Okay. The handwriting is extremely dense. There is a naming convention. Yes, it appears you employ a, shall we say, robust yet literary system. Each investigation has its case number written on the margins, yet, still more tellingly, most are accompanied by a name. A title, one might say, even. One that draws inspiration from Snoop fiction and Vespertine cop show staples. Oh my, they are written in capital letters too. Damage ledger. Yep, all caps. One is called The Next World Mural, another The Square Bullet Hole Murders, and another yet The Unsolvable Case. More? Others appear more lighthearted, the guy on a couch in an unexpected location, and the murder at the hookah parlor. Even the rare article-free collapsing tenement. Murder features prominently throughout. It's going to take an effort to piece these case files together, but it can be done later, once you're done inspecting them up close. Hey Kim, look at these names. You mean the alphanumeric, officer, precinct, time of arrival at the scene? No. Oh, you mean the titular? Yes, well, so do I. In our defense, almost everyone in the RCM does. Why? It's a holdover from the early days. Right after the revolution, when the organization had little idea on how to do things. It persists in an unofficial capacity. Officers use these titles to refer to their work amongst themselves. I seem to have named a case to square bullet hole murders. Again, in your defense, I seem to have named one. He peeks into his notes. The man with the hole in his head. That was a real person. His death was real. Still, I named it that. To amuse myself. He smiles. I pray his loved ones never find out. What happened to him seems like a dumb question here, but sure, what happened to him? Rail spike through the head. He died. It was a workplace accident. Count the pages. I have to open official case. Is there room? There is, for precisely one more. 15 pages near the end remain untouched by the damage. The checkered grid forms a structure of passages, breaking the case into subtasks to accomplish. Committed to paper. Conceptualization, medium success. Sadly, the ledger only comes with an old worn-down lead pencil. It's unfitting of this monumental event. Kim, do you have a pen? The lieutenant lurks at his blue notebook. 2 fat shiny pens hang from the binder, like large caliber bullets on an ammo belt. He's not really saying anything, just standing there, looking at them. Can I have one? Know that I give this to you, he pulls it from the loop, with resentment. With this beauty, commit the paper. The tasks you've completed flow out of the blue oblong pen, in a brash-free handwriting, uncannily similar to the rest of the letters. The wording comes easily. It's almost robotically simple, a language developed from mental rigor and simplicity. Inspect victim's body. Interview cafeteria manager. It's not exactly poetry, but poetry would be out of place. Cross out the ones you've already finished. A satisfying slash sounds across the paper. You've done it, it seems to say. And you, and you. Things to be done and things already done. The composition of reality. This is an extremely useful tool for a detective of the Citizens Militia. And all that remains is to name the case. Lieutenant, have you by any chance named our case? No, actually. Any ideas? The hanged man, the Furies are at home in the mirror, the setting sun, shit on a stick. I don't have one. Hanged man is obvious, but it feels the best. Great. That's great, actually. That's what I was thinking. Good, strong name. We have a very good name for the case now. He flips the pages of his notebook. I'm going to start calling it the Hanged Man. It's good we sorted this out. He's so happy. I'm done inspecting this. Browse the yellow papers. In the back, you see thin translucent copy of paper. Some neon paper, some bright red, all covered in boxes like marching armies. Look like official forms, waiting to be filled out. Then rip them from the binder and hand them out according to type of form. What types of form are these? 3. The topmost are misconduct files, the middle ones are station calls, and the bottommost are field autopsy forms. Each is easy enough to make sense of. You don't have to be an intellectual giant to do police work. The misconduct? Monetary penalization ranging from 20 to 250 reals. Severe cases allow for 1,000, but that requires special paperwork. Details of issuing these fines are spread out over the rest of the fields. Station call. These are quite sinister in tone. They give a date and time for the person to appear at the specified precinct police station. Below the call are the criminal charges you risk by not appearing. Reception, medium success. On a print so small it could be considered downright cute. No. Field autopsy. A dozen pages of thin copy paper, bright red in color. You see the parameters of a deceased human form while waiting to be filled in. Age, sex, condition of internal organs. Enough. Yep, all that remains now is to fill those forms and hand them to people. Fines for wrongdoers, interview requests for bad guys, and field autopsies to dead guys. The rest of the stinking cellulose is much worse for wear, being sandwiched between the board and the rest of the paperwork. Must have spared the fragile copy paper. Just look at it. It's made of a dark blue plastic hard enough to beat someone to submission with. The edges are rounded, however. The U4 size board feels thick and heavy in your hand. Light shimmers on its wet surface. On the back you see the embossed letters RCM. Shit. Something rattles inside. Ever so lightly. There a hidden compartment? And something small inside, light. Made of paper or cardboard or dried flowers. Beacon. Plastic shimmers like lapis lazuli, but it's not see-through. You cannot see through its center. What would happen if I open it? Or how would I open it? Your hands? U4 size paper hangs from a clip screwed in the top of the board. Smell it. The acidic stench of rotting food is rubbed off on the cellulose. It now forms the base of the experience. This base surrounded by a faint air of spoiled meat, the stuff of death, and then sprinkled liberally with the citrus zest of toilet cleaning. Perception, medium success. Man, by picking you the main thing, you're just the one that's going to show up all the time, especially with 3s across the board, huh? That's fine. You're very matter of fact. You know, like the bits they put into public piss balls, probably called Fermi Discrete or Axel or something. At some point in its journey, the ledger has seen the inside of a toilet. Which one would that be? Remember when I said the smell of the upstairs bathroom was so rank they should have sent a poet to describe it? It is sprinkled liberally with the citrus zest of toilet cleaner, a line this poet might have used. Why, yes it is! Among many other things. This cleaning tablet is used by the whirling in rags. Perhaps that's where the ledger was dropped in the toilet? By you? Can I read the case files now, though? Yeah! I pieced them together using the alphanumeric code on the margin. It always begins with HDB41, then date of initialization, sometime of arrival on the scene, followed by the title. For example, HDB41 12/01/17, the Next World Mural. Weren't those official officer precinct? Why yes, your precinct number is 41 in HDB. Every last alphanumeric in the files begins with it. You can see these are your case files, so it's safe to say HDB are your initials. Horace Debbie Berenger, Haram Darjan Bizinkin. Those are, I'm not feeling them. Prom. No. How long does it take to read a case? About half an hour to piece one together, using the system you've devised. Where do you want to start? I can revisit this. 42%. I don't like it. It feels wrong, but let's try it anyway. Hey, I was wrong. That's okay every now and then. Got it by 1. The two sides of the board appear slightly misaligned, like a drawer that's come off the slides. If you bend the plastic on your knee slowly, slides snap back into place. It should be possible to just, you know, slide it open. Without resistance or sound, the two panels move against each other. The compartment's now open. What's inside? 2 ticket stubs and a handmade postcard. Pick up the stubs. Pick up the stubs, pick up the card, fucking kill yourself, or close the permeable compartment. What? Where's this option coming in from? Let's look at the stubs. 2 octopuses are smiling, reaching their tentacles toward each other in the colored pencil drawings. The tickets permit access to a zoo in Rivashall East. The aquarium costs extra. Please let you go there too. And the card? The wax paper has been glued to a piece of cardboard. Sounds like leaves rustling when you pick it up. See violet flowers, floral patterns, patterns of patches of glue. Sniff. Smells of chewing gum. Apricot. A touch of cinnamon, the end of summer. You think the label says tutti frutti? Open it. Familiar handwriting line is the inside of the card. Looped round letters in a woman's hand. A young woman in her 20s. There's care, effort, and a smile, you think. Although, that's not something you can read from someone's handwriting. Harry, it begins. You're already reading. I wanted to write you a letter so you can read it when you wake up. Maybe it will make you happy. Throw it away, please. Keep reading. Your hand shakes holding the card. Every morning when I step out and you're asleep behind me, it says, I find a little piece of sadness in me. I carry it in my chest down Voyager Road. Every step I take it grows. By the time I reach the fuel station, it's filled me entirely. I step on the light rail and look back. Sparks fall from the bow collector. Bow collector? I know it will be like this until late afternoon when I get off the 42 and walk back to you. Keep reading. Every step I take will get lighter. It almost makes me run. Sometimes I do. Can't believe I met you. Can't believe the happiness I feel with you. You have a vast, vast soul and I will always, always come back to it. This doesn't end well. Kisses, kisses, kisses. You feel the air sucked out of your lungs and the blood sucked out of your head. Everything around you goes dark, small white dots appear. You feel the ledger slip from your hand. No, hold on. Hold on? To what? There's nothing. Detective, is everything alright? Fall sideways. That is haunting. We're not dead, shut up.
There is nothing.
Shut up, I just passed out.
Again.
Nothing?
Nothing sad, brother. No treachery, just blackout.
Just lie there, passed out, sure.
Well, almost nothing. There is the ground below you, that's still there. And the small light that's on, fluttering, somewhere in the basal ganglia.
Who's that?
That's me. Blue eyes, that's me.
And who was that?
Who was what?
He speaks of the sickening longing, the unwell emotion. Even in the darkness, he's grasping for it. Still trying to hold on to the great sorrows slipping in the water. Slimy.
Yeah, that stuff.
Here in the paleo-mammalian cortex, we call it the shadow. Because it's always there.
Thought gained, white morning. Tell him, perception smell.
Ah, yes. In the olfactory system, they call it the apricot chewing gum scented one. It's unhealthy of them to linger on it so. But as they say, what do you do?
I feel like betrayal is the defense response. Let's be honest. It smelled nice.
It didn't smell nice. It smelled like betrayal.
Something can only betray you if it is the first connected. Was that the X something?
Bloated corpse of the past resurfacing.
Yeah, that.
Don't prod at it. It will start moving again.
And this Voyager Road.
There is no Voyager Road. There are no roads, no houses, no lights in the windows. It's all on pause.
Just lie there, motionless.
You think they would let you? Until you disintegrate into biomolecule. No. Someone is breathing on your face now, inspecting your pupils, stupid idiot.
What is that? It's cold.
Yes, they're pouring something on you. It's in you. And it's
Delicious. Glowing lights on a dashboard emerge out of nothingness. Where am I? In the upholstered cabin of Lieutenant Kitsuragi's motor carriage, seated in the driver's seat. The air is thick with leatherworks and heavy fuel oil. Cold water runs down your chin. Drink. Water. The lieutenant is extending a small canister to your mouth. Drink. The water is cold, silvery, the stuff of life itself, as it pours down your parched throat. Pounding in your head recedes, the darkness parts. Drink. He tilts the canister. You haven't drunk water in 2 days. Did you know the human body is not made to survive on alcohol alone? You need a secondary form of hydration. Drink. With greedy gulps, you down half a liter of cold water. Something of it spills into the driver's seat. The lieutenant pays no heed to it. What happened? Should ask you the same. You were reading your paperwork, then you passed out. I carried you to my kinema to take you to a hospital, then you came to. How long was I out? 10 minutes, maybe? I came into contact with the burnt-out ruins of the past, Lieutenant. That does sometimes happen. He hands you the remains of your ledger. You drop this. Are you okay to proceed? Just nod. Good. The Ledger of Failure and Hatred is a special item that can be used both as an interactable and a tool equipped in your held slot for skill bonuses. It's not the Ledger of Failure and Hatred, it's the Ledger of Got Hurted. Kim's pin. A blue pin, like a large caliber bullet that shoots out ink, once belonged to Lieutenant Kitsuragi. Comes with a side order of resentment. I'll get it back to him. The Ledger of Hatred and Resentment. This is the same ledger you found in the trash, only worse somehow. Makes you think about the letter, and the woman's handwriting. Not wanting to get out of bed in the morning. Oh, I can level things up. See? What would probably be good to level up that I've seen so far? I feel like just like strong things might help. So, of that. Physical instrument, endurance. I feel like endurance is health. Either that or anti-coordination or interfacing. Got a lot to go through. The point in there. We have a bunch? No. Can I work on this one too? Yep. You see yourself from above. You're passed out on the blue tiles of the hotel room floor. Even from this distance you can see your eyelids flutter at the mention of what? A great white object, letting out its sweet smell like a lily of the valley. The little man's forgotten its name, but he still remembers the feeling. And look, he moves. The feeling animates him. He instinctively reaches out for the feeling's best friend, a bottle of Commodore Red. He puts on his disco clothes and gets smaller and smaller. Slide the hidden drawer open. Pick up the card again. You stare at the card, willing your hand to move. It refuses. Not again. Stubs, the same. Just what happens if I pick this one? Or it's just crossed your mind somehow. Who are they for? What do you think? Close the compartment. I'll read a file later. Since I'm at the car, actually, I've got a couple things to look at. Want to talk about you, Kim? Me? Yeah, you. You don't know how my life is pertinent to the investigation? We'll work better together if we have a better rapport. That's a fair point. Alright. For the good of the investigation, what do you want to know? Little secret? The lieutenant narrows a single eyebrow. No. Okay. The lieutenant nods. You ever talk with yourself? What do you mean? You know, like when you're thinking. Do you ever have conversations with, like, your brain? I have no idea what you're talking about. Conceptualization, medium success. The lieutenant's conceptualization skills must be rather rudimentary. Oh, come on, don't be mean. Esprit de corps, medium success. The lieutenant is a police officer of the old school. His concerns are material and extrinsic. But this isn't an old school case. So how do you know, tap the side of your head? I get it, you're one of those old school detectives, nod respectfully. So you're saying your brain never just chimes in with advice or warnings or anything? I get it, you're old school. So what? That makes you the new school? God spare us. For real detective work, nothing beats a good notebook at your side. The lieutenant produces a small blue notebook and idly thumbs through a few pages. That's where his conversations with himself take place. We all have our different mediums. His is written. Electrochemistry. You're super lucid yet psychedelic. You don't need office supplies to connect to your nervous system. You're special. Glasses? Yes. That makes him a binoclard. Completely uncupped material, if you say so. I'm not gonna call him a bino. Glasses are cool. I'm blind. Are they? They're mostly just cumbersome. You don't look like other people around here. I feel like that might be a point of contention, but... break the ice, I guess. That's because I'm half Sealite, or quarter. My father's father was from Seal. So was my grandmother, but from my mother's side. He shakes his head. It's not an interesting topic. What is it, if I may ask? It's a part of the world, officer. A geopolitical entity. And a geographic division. I told you it wouldn't be interesting. Seal is a protectionist, isolationist, peninsulary state west of the Insulinian Isola. Jesus. Actually, it's quite interesting. Some would even say mysterious. I guess it isn't interesting then. I can see you're disappointed. A brief smile. You're right to be. I don't speak a word of Sealite. I've never met either of my grandparents. I've never been to there. I'm a regular garden variety Rebechellian. Good to know, Kim. That matters. That's all for now. Good, let us change the subject. Can you turn your headlights on? I want to look at this thing. Before you stands a motor carriage. The bodywork's covered in blue and white livery, bearing the number 57. Vapor emanates from the large engine on the back of the vehicle. It hasn't had time to cool off yet. This must be the infernal machine that tore you from oblivion. Open the door. In the cabin, you're welcomed by a set of steering levers, a radio microphone on a hook, a pull-out toolbox under the seat, and the soft glow of the preheater gauge. Fuel preheater gauge. The scent of leatherwork and heavy fuel oils washes over you. Kim, how do I turn on the headlights? He turns the preheater on, waits, takes out the keys, and says, "Alright. Ready, I turn, you press start. It's next to the preheater." He's downplaying his excitement. The lieutenant is more than happy to show off his carriage. Start it. Dashboard lights up with an orange glow. The sounds of per minute... Jeez. It's a spaceship. The rounds per minute gauge jumps in the engine of a Cupre fucking words, man. Comes to life with a whiny growl. Cupre Kinema. Like a leopard waking from sleep, yawning and roaring at the same time. Headlight button. The lights unfold with a little click, casting electrical light out onto the ground before the vehicle. There you go. I'll turn them off from the remote once you're done. We just need to stand in front of the machine now. Pull out toolbox. A metallic drawer slides out from under the seat and clicks into place. The tools inside are neatly organized. Take what you need, officer. It's going to be a long case. I'm not protective of my tools like some men. He's clearly a little protective of his tools, but what can you do? Work is work. Pry bar, chain cutters, flashlight, and that's it. I'm taking them all, buddy. Pry bar feels nice and cold in your hands, heavier than you think. Cold and heavy, like truth. You feel like you're reunited with truth once more. Useful for opening all sorts of doors and lids. Chain cutters. Handles are long and sleek. Snap, snap, go to cutters in your hands. And the flashlight. It is robust, weatherproof, and well made. Let you see things in the dark. And that's it. Run your fingers over one of the steering levers. The white suede feels luxurious under the touch, and the metal clutch handles are so familiar in your palms. Kim, what are we looking at here? What is this machine? This is the Cupre Kanima, my motor carriage. You can use the toolbox and the radio if you'd like. He nods at the cabin. Motor carriage, something bad if a motor carriage. A dark lump rises in your throat. What's this sinking feeling I have with the word motor carriage? Nothing. It's probably nothing. Forget I brought it up. Proceed with the carefree lollygagging. Did we drive somewhere? No, I'm afraid not. We have a murder case on our hands. Yeah, I know. This must be what woke me up when you arrived. Sorry about that. The Cupre Kanima does have a rather distinctive engine sound. He says it with very badly concealed pride. Do all policemen in RCM have these cool carriages? The Cupre Mother Corps does provide most of our patrol vehicles, yes. Let's look around the cabin again. Close the door. As you hold your ledger's clip under the headlamp, an iridescent hologram appears. A street grid of the veins of a great river. A familiar sensation washes over you. There she is, Ravenshaw West. There's a note of pride in the lieutenant's voice. Around the borders of the watermark are dozens, no hundreds of micro-perforations. Look at the shimmering street grid. The rectangular watermark is overlaid with the logo of the RCM, and yet the major arteries of Ravenshaw are all recognizable. They shimmer in like Anima's headlights. Wait, look around you. A rat brazenly darts past you and disappears amongst the stopped lorries. In the distance, a child somewhere shrieks. A woman reprimands her in a voice no quieter than the child's. Ah, Martinez. He smells the air. So where are we on this? Let's see. Takes the ledger for a moment and inspects it. Right here, he says, his finger near the top of the map, on a segment of coast jutting out into the great ocean. Seems nice. No, it does not. The lieutenant says without optimism. The perforations. There are many of them. And they are divided into 3 separate rows. Tally them. First row has 18 dots. And the next? The next is the longest. It runs all the way around the border and then some. Count them. There are many, it's hard to count. More than 150, maybe even 200. And the last? The last row has 3. 3. That's it. Hey Kim, what do all these holes mean? Those are perforations. They represent your record as an officer of the RCM. They're your statistics, as it were. I should have guessed you'd kept the record. Officers often do. Let's take a look. Son, here's where we score your life performance. You better hope it's good. The first row represents your years of service. 18 years. Not bad. What did you do before you volunteered? I have no idea, Kim. Fair point. Let's move on. This next row, the one that wraps all the way around, is your number of closed cases. Closed is good. It means finished. You've got many. Is that a lot? It's quite a lot. Even for someone who's been on the force for nearly 2 decades. Usually clearing more than 10 in a year puts you in the 90th percentile of all RCM officers. Used to be good. There's some solace, I guess. What's the last number? Right. Those are your confirmed kills. You have 3 perforations there. It's not too many. For an RCM officer, especially Precinct 41, which is in the Jamrock quarter, it's rather tame, and I mean that in a good way. There are certain officers who treat their kills like some kind of ghoulish game. If they do happen to solve a case, it's usually by accident. It's obvious the lieutenant doesn't think very highly of these officers. But it seems as though you are, or at least were, one of the good ones. So we have that to be thankful for. How do you handle the strain? Everyone has their own method of coping. Some more effective or self-destructive than others. It gives you a meaningful look. Personally, I find it helps to keep up a few hobbies. Like what? Oh, this and that. Let's not get into it now. Maybe I should find one, though. Anything's better than annihilating yourself with drugs and alcohol. It's meant in earnest. Don't mistake it for a jab. Thanks for this. The lieutenant nods. Alright, let's go. I'll get the lights. You can now see your stats on your journal. Woohoo! Doing so many things. Equip these to open lock containers. Flashlight. Is there like a fast equip button? Tab opens that. I don't see it. Let's not annoy people with the flashlight for no reason. Though I will just carry around a crowbar.
The RCM in Martinez.
The young woman looks up at you.
What can I help you with?
I have some questions.
Of course. What can I help you with?
We need directions. Sure. Where am I? What do you mean? I'm a bit disoriented. This is Rivishall, right? Yes, sir. District of Martinez. She looks around, thinking what else to say. This intersection is called Roundabout North. He knows where we are. He just wants directions. Lieutenant seems uncomfortable with the level of disorientation you're displaying. Kim, I can't remember shit. And the north? That is the pier. The Cape Side apartment buildings. Some more tenements, not a lot really. East? Harbor Gates. Some kind of commotion, I think. I don't follow the local politics. A freight store too. In the south? Some shops and a bridge. The canal bridge leads to the coast, but it's broken, I think. Some kind of accident. It's on the other side of the canal. This coast. There's a little fishing village there, and a fish market, but that got closed down ages ago. In the west? Just water. She looks at the water, squinting. No, actually I think they call it the Martinez Inlet. There are some islands in the bay, but they're hard to reach. Good directions. My partner told me you may have some ammonia. Can I have some? Sure, I am done with it. She takes a small capsule out of her breast pocket and hands it to you. Go easy on that stuff. It gives me a terrible headache. So what's up with this fuck the police business? Excuse me? She doesn't understand. She's uncomfortable. Maybe you should drop the line of questioning. The street sign. Oh, she cranes her neck. I didn't write it there. I'm just sitting here. And the other one? I don't know anything. I just said I didn't write it. Pig is a widely term. Yeah, blah blah blah. No need to worry. We're not saying you did. Okay, I need to leave. I will not hold you back. Your gloves. You get the feeling that you need them. You have a dead body to deal with, after all. One more thing. Can I borrow your gloves? Sure, keep them. I have another pair. She hands you the rubber gloves with no visible annoyance. Thanks. I will continue to steal everything not nailed down, and some things that are nailed down. Because I have a crowbar. Yes. Idiot detective rides again. Before I mess with the body, let's see if I can return his key. We got everything out of the trash. Where's my thing doing that? Calm down.
Hello again, sweetie.
Seem to be in a chair. Yes, I'm a paraplegic. Paraplegic, someone with limited or no ability to use the lower half of their body. Grenade, did you fight in a war? No, I'm quite old. Not quite that old, though I was injured in the line of duty. Were you a tightrope walker? Nothing so extravagant, dear, though what young girl doesn't dream of soaring over a crowd? What did you do then? I was training and development manager at a rapidly expanding mail-order shoe company. You'd think it would be a safe job, but I had to be everywhere, and well, once I happened to be under some faulty scaffolding. I was lucky. This is almost 20 years ago. I was compensated exceptionally well. One can only dream of such payoffs nowadays. She runs her hands over the chrome wheels of her chair. Thanks for clearing that up for me. Let's move on. No problem, she nods, smiling. There is no bitterness in her voice. She accepted the curiosity her condition inspires a long time ago. I don't know anything. Yes, officer, you look rather dazed, like a stunned fox, but surely things can't be that bad. Her eyes follow your movements with some concern. I hope you're right. You know where we are, right? The Whirling in Rags cafeteria? It was Samaki's. That's right. And where is the Whirling in Rags cafeteria itself located? Ravenshaw? Yeah, we're in the fine city of Ravenshaw. Okay. Ravenshaw? All I know is that Ravenshaw used to be really cool in the 30s. New disco dancing. It seems like a lifetime ago. Her eyes are filled with light reflected off those gilded years, when the city seemed full of possibility. Much has changed, but it still is the most beautiful city in the world. A rare jewel set in the sand between the pines. Everyone says so, even foreigners. There's a pause as she studies your expression. You must look quite lost. Speaking of history, you know what year it is? Spring of 51? I think so. Item gained, kind green ape pin. That's right. How splendid. Here, take this pin. Knowledge should always be rewarded. Her relief is palpable. She was getting pretty worried about you there, but now she relaxes his shoulders. I can tell this is taxing for you, so I'll just ask one more question. What regime are we living under? What mode of government? What kind of democracy? I'd like to think it's the dictatorship of the proletariat, but something tells me not. Our leaders are fierce warriors who traverse the plains on steeds. Civilization cowers before us. We're governed by intelligent machines that perform calculations to determine the freest market. Everyone hustles and grinds like a badass visionary. Radios are being used to control people's minds and distort our perceptions of reality, concealing our true masters, foreigners, and women. Jesus. Cop. We're living under the cop regime. Some type of democracy, maybe? Nope, sadly not. Ravenshaw is what's called a zone of control, under an alliance of foreign powers called the Coalition. Just like every alliance of foreign powers, calling themselves the Coalition. They're everywhere. We have no government of our own, and what democracy we have is, she thinks, market-driven. If there's no government, how come there's cops? Oh dear, she shakes her head suddenly. And you were doing so well. There aren't any cops in Ravenshaw, not in the traditional sense. The status of law enforcement has been a complicated matter since the revolution. But we should stop for today. You look like you need a break. Besides, I'm not the best person to explain the big things to anyone. She's scared now. She realized you really are brain damaged. So, how did I do? You were doing quite well up until the end there. It does look like you're having trouble remembering things. History and places. You're remembering reality, in a word. It's very odd. A sigh. The lieutenant buries his nose in his notebook. But maybe a fresh set of eyes is what the world needs, and while I'm no doctor, such bouts of amnesia are often temporary. So I wouldn't worry too much. So what's up with this revolution? A defeat, I'm afraid. The people of this archipelago tried to build something new, something different. The rest of the world didn't like it. So they came and ended it. That was 40 years ago. So what does that have to do with there not being any cops? It has something to do with everything. I don't really know how to explain it better. Just a poor woman, she thinks. What do I know of these things and how can I help you? Who could tell me more? Someone more educated in sweeping matters? Maybe you should ask. She turns to the lieutenant. No, he looks away. I'm not an encyclopedia. I won't be a guide either. I'm a detective. Of course, she turns to you. Then, I don't know. Someone rich maybe? Wealthy people are educated. Though I don't know where you could find a wealthy person in Martinez. Okay, I've got to get going. Kind green ape pen. Pen with a green ape head on one end. The ape is closed its eyes, a kind expression adorning its face. It seems meditating. Hey Cam, you can have your pen back.
Yes?
How do I give you your pen back? I want to return your pen. Let me do it. Why is that pen worth so much less?
Yes?
Tell me about the case. Would you say it's mysterious? The lieutenant considers your question a moment before answering. Not particularly mysterious. Why not? The deceased is the security guard for a corporation involved in a labor dispute. It doesn't take a DeLorean polymath to put the pieces together. I just don't see the case getting more mysterious than that. I was thinking something otherworldly might be involved, something supernatural. White male in his 40s, what more do you need? Personally, I think labor disputes are very mysterious. Okay, so the case probably isn't mysterious, but could it be sexy? I don't know, man. Labor disputes can be kind of mysterious. Then you're in luck. Because we're in the midst of a major strike by the Dark Workers Union. Maybe more than that. The union clearly wants a peace, not just of the industrial harbor, but of the Wild Pines Corporation itself. Is this a strike then? Or the first shots in a workers' coup? I suspect the case itself to be less challenging than navigating these community matters. This district isn't used to the RCM's presence, and the union rarely overplays its hand, as it appears to have done in this case. So was this a strike or an attempted coup? Strike, coup, revolution, it's brigandage, however you parse it. You feel something rising through you, a familiar feeling, an option taking form. We should ground the workers into fine paste and feed them to the pigs. We should ground the owners into fine paste and feed them to the pigs. With this little foreknowledge, I'm unsure as to which side to grind and the pigs feed. The decision must be ferment in me. Also, nationalism. I don't think grounding one or the other side in the pig's feed will do anyone favors. I am really, really smart. I have spent the last 20 seconds deciding on which side to grind in the pig's feed. Why? Yeah, no, just murder doesn't help. Unless they're, like, real bad. When I said we have to navigate community matters, I did not mean we have any say in them. I meant we should be careful. If we are not, the shit will blow right in our faces. He makes a quick gesture towards his visage, where the shit would blow. From an imaginary fan. Now, was there anything else you wanted to know about the case? If we're from different precincts, why are we on the same case? I'm afraid you and I are pawns in a pissing competition. His disdain is clear. This man would not use such an expression otherwise. What do you mean? You don't know? His eyes narrow. I assumed you were in on it. Amnesia! You know what I'm in on. Amnesia! Better still than an imbecilic cop-off. Cop-off? It's just stupidity. We shouldn't waste any more time on it. If you want my take, ask me after we've inspected the victim. Alright. Basics. Maybe you can tell me what you do know to help me narrow it down. I know basically only what you've told me and what we've seen. Yes, brief. 3 days ago, the RCM Emergencies Desk received a report about a security guard who was found hanged in Martinez. But they hung there for 4 days. An anonymous caller said there was a dead body behind the Whirling in Rags hostel cafeteria. The cadaver had been there for 4 days, no one had come to investigate. Well, I guess there used to be a fence. So you can make the argument that most passerby didn't see it. During that time, the victim had been stripped of his belongings. The caller did not identify him, but used the word lynching. There is an ongoing labor dispute between the local dock workers and the logistics company Wild Pines. I was told we should approach the deaf as part of this dispute. Does the briefing say anything about the victim? A security guard or worker of some sort hired by Wild Pines. This was just a hearsay from Martinez, of course. We need to find out the truth. And the caller? They didn't identify themselves in any way. The tone was muffled using a device of some sort. The desk could not identify the caller's age nor sex. Why hide? There's a strong prejudice against involving the RCM in what's seen as a union matter. The Dark Workers Union is the de facto police in Martinez. Now it appears they've started executing too. We cannot allow that. And the RCM is... that's us. The Ravishal Citizens Militia. We're the police in this city. The RCM, or Ravishal Citizens Militia, is the police force you and him are a part of, a self-organized peace corps of the occupied city of Ravishal. The RCM operates within a legal twilight, yet its authority is rarely questioned. It's super useful to know this. And our job here is to find the killer. That's right. Alright. You seem to be following me. Excuse me? Nothing, just an observation. We have he's looking for the right word, a distinctive way of walking. If I were to walk in front of you, we would surely collide. What do you mean? I do hope you don't take it the wrong way. It's just a collegial observation. In the 57th, we call it the Jamrock Shuffle. Officer from Jamrock, 41st, and seem to... You're a player character? Say it's a scene-clearing technique developed by one of your lieutenants for gathering evidence. It's erratic yet thorough. Prioritizes containers. Oh. Ooh, thingy. Yes, but containers contain things. Shiny things. They're interesting. I like you. Why containers? Don't know. Containers contain. I'm making assumptions. We should move on. Passing along frivolous interdepartmental stereotypes is not usually his au revoir. He regrets bringing it up. I'm sorry I can't return your pen, Kim. I would if I could.
Can I help you?
Here's your key. Hope you found what you were looking for. I found their clothes. How strange. I didn't put them there. Could someone in your staff has put them there? Who else has the keys to the trash container? Trash collection services? CS Municipal? I don't see why they would put anything in the trash, though. Ah, the elusive CS Municipal. I doubt we'll be able to track down who was sent here last and when. This will have to be one of those little threads that solves itself down the road. Turns to the man. Thank you, anyway. Could someone on your staff have put something in them? Sylvie had the keys before I got here, and I can vouch for her. I can vouch for all my staff. None of us would tamper with a crime scene. Talk about something else. I've seen something here at the Whirling I think I need to talk about. Saw a sign that said the mess hall is reserved freezer for the Union. Yes, not the whole damn Union, thank God, just the nastiest and loudest. Tosses his head in disdain. They come here in the evenings, dumb unruly types. They think they're big shit. But they're good customers. They place big orders and they pay on time. We should find out who this loud faction is, occupying the booth. Loudless means talkative, and we need info. It gives you a meaningful nod. How do we find them? We don't. We have to wait. They'll show up sooner or later. He looks toward the booth. Men get hungry, even striking men. Not today, then they'll be here tomorrow. I can't go in the kitchen. What are you, a cook now? That's none of your business. But there may be something pertinent to the investigation in the kitchen. He rolls his eyes. Wasn't pan-fried, he was lynched. What could the kitchen possibly have to do if he changes his mind? Something else? Reaction speed. By the way, you should come back to this thing-based questionnaire if you see anything interesting in the rolling later. Yeah. By the way, I'm going to sing karaoke. Absolutely not. Absolutely in the question. First, we find a sad banger, then we sing this place to shit. Fine. Goodbye. She ran off. Kim tries not to look at your broken down bathroom door. Give me the tie! It's savoir faire. No! Light bulb. Terrible mistake. Turn the lights off immediately. You can practically feel the photons burning a hole in your brain. Bring it on. Your eyes buried. It's not good. Turn the light on. We can take it. Tab. Nothing. Kim also tries not to look at the pile of tape viscera on the carpet, or the weird suitcase on the hat rack, or the potted plant dying in the corner. It's all just too morbid to ignore. Looking at the destruction, he nods. I'm sorry. No problem, officer. He takes a step toward the door, like he'd like to leave. Anything else on this couch? Bed thing? Bed is cold and not particularly inviting, but it's yours. The sheets look awful, though. The option to go to sleep becomes available every night after 2100. Deal with that later, then. Sugary black rum stain on the counter makes you teary-eyed for joy. It's almost touching how syrupy and sticky it is. How long have you been up already? 2 hours? An hour would have been bad. 2 hours is mystical. You have truly wiped out all trace of yourself if you haven't thought about rum and lemonade yet. Actually, should I be thinking about this? It looks like drinking hasn't turned out too well for me. Maybe you haven't turned out well for your drinking. Have you thought about that? Get a goddamn rum and lemonade in you. Or, better yet, lick that stain off the counter. No. What happened, man? You used to be cool. Go get your boring normal person drink then. Get your drink on and get your act together.
Guillaume Le Million.
Thought complete.
Bad news. Guillaume Le Million did not become a cop. In 1938, he went on a tour to the Sinyao province in Safre, where he died of autoerotic asphyxiation. His body was found hanging from a decorative dragon tree in his junior suite, amid drug paraphernalia, unwholesome objects, and the Sylvia Trainer single, Wonderland, skipping in the background. And yes, you can take this as a metaphor for Revachol in the 30s, and also as a warning.
Bonuses from the thought. 1 pain threshold. Blood oxygen is boring. And all psyche learning caps rates by 1. What? See? Any other thoughts? Nope. Back outside. I can just right click, I don't necessarily need to hit tab. Let's try this again. 8% chance. Failure again. Oh, that was closer. Okay, it looks like I probably should have increased my endurance instead. The ammonia didn't help at all. Notice the wind right now. You feel the lieutenant pat your back rhythmically. Wait's reasoning, like a cranial. Their weight is reassuring, like a crenel on solid fortification. I've seen strong men turn themselves inside out for hours. You're facing tough odds here. Alcohol withdrawal makes it considerably harder. Why can't I keep it in if I've been a cop my whole life? I've seen captains puke their guts out. Never gets easier. Never get used to the smell. Every Monday is cadaver day. Throw up, investigate, throw up. Initial autopsy, bag. Autopsy, throw up, bag it. Then drive to the station. Maybe throw up on the way there, if you didn't bag the thing tight enough. You seem fine. Think I've lost my sense of smell. Not being hungover helps too. Can't we do something else? I think I want to solve something else now. Probably a good idea. Clear our heads. Before we can do that, he withdraws his hand from your back and looks you in the eye. You need to get your shit together. Okay. I should go talk to the locals. Find something else to do while the wind changes. It's pretty bad right now. Gain a thought. Give it half an hour. Get yourself together, then come back and have another go. Volumetric shit compressor. How do I unlock? Unlock a new slot to research the thought. I can stop those, but I can't forget them. You need skill points to forget things. Which is weird. That's a mess, but I did get told that I could just jump off the thing from Kuno. So maybe I can do that as an option now. Can I look at the green thing? No. Double no. Jim, you're in front of me now. Pathfind. Come on, get up there. Fucking jump. Looks like someone left his tarpon cloak hanging on the railing. When the wind ruffles the cloak, you can most definitely see the white rectangle on its back. It's a cop cloak. Probably yours. It bears the RCM insignia and you have a habit of being careless with your equipment. You'd probably make the jump. You look like you've done some track and field in your day. Look around. The wind is aggressive up here. The lieutenant looks at the enormous crane towering in the distance over the container yard. The look in his eyes is a mix of engineer-like interest in the wonder of a 6-year-old seeing a horse for the first time. That McKean is his Covenant 1020 HK. That. Is it? It looks at you impressed. Gilvolsland makes a lot of heavy equipment, but this is phenomenal even for them. But I digress. We were focusing on your cloak here. Looks at the sad piece of fabric fluttering in the wind. I really need that savoir faire to go up. What exactly are we doing up here? Awfully close to breaking into the industrial harbor. They found out information for us. I thought that was our intention. Or it could be we're just exploring. He looks around, the wind rustling his hair. He's thinking you've forgotten where you are again. You really think it's mine? Should I go for it? Jump? The cloak? I do think it is. As to whether you should go for it. He looks over the ledge, the cold pavement below. It doesn't seem too dangerous. 2 meters tops? Whenever you're ready to do it, I'll be right behind you. Cloak looks like a bag of goodies floating in the wind. Who knows what its pockets may hide? Hoi! No! Don't fall left. Holy cow, that's high. Doesn't seem dangerous. The lieutenant must be crazy. Certain death. Could have died there. Holy shit. What happened? He sounds genuinely worried. I'm alright. I just can't do it right now. I understand. We can always come back when you're feeling better. I need savoir faire to go up and I need endurance to go up. Just a cloak after all. Not right now. Damn it. Alright, I guess we'll investigate other directions. What's it about this pathway that I just can't seem to get correct? I guess I have a halo now. Okay, it went away. Alright. Well, this has gone poorly. Look as a rose, a pistol, and half-naked dame on its cover. It appears to be erotica. Well, I've had actual erotica. Very muscular man surrounded by flames. A book about pate. You don't understand what it's about, nor does it seem important. Book about book about the future. The government reads your mind using radio tech.
Hello, sir. Step right in. The store is open.
A young girl with chubby red cheeks waves at you, smiling. Her face is also red from the gold. Hello.
Are you interested in a new and exciting book?
She stomps her feet to feel warmer. What kind of a store is this anyway?
It's a bookstore, sir. We sell books, postcards, and some board games. It's called Crime, Romance, and Biographies of Famous People.
Well, hold your horses, little girl. What's a book? What's a postcard? What's a board game? I know all these things. You're fooling no one. Don't you sass me.
Sir, are you okay? You've been standing here silently for a while now.
Is it okay if I ask some questions?
Okay, sir. I'll try to answer any questions you have. I hope they're about books.
What's your name? My name is Annette, sir. My mum, her name is Placence. She owns the store. She's inside, minding the register, or organizing the stock. The girl gazes at the window, then suddenly jolts, her eyes wide as if recalling something. Feel free to step in and browse our wares. And you're out in the cold because I'm signaling that the store is open, she nods eagerly. Otherwise, people might not know. They'd miss out on the crime, romance, and biographies of famous people. A sudden gush of wind turns the pages of the books on the counters. She covers her face, smiling, but she's cold. You're cold. Could I help in some way? Kind of you to offer, sir. She doesn't know what else to say. What could you do to help her anyway? Should have a word with the store owner, maybe. Such a good trooper you are, already learning the value of hard work, pat her head. I could help by brutally dismantling the free market. Maybe I'll have a word with the owner. No, sir, I'm happy to help Mum by luring in customers. She stands upright and smiles like a little soldier. Besides, I have some hot juice in my vacuum bottle to keep me warm. Can you be at school or something? I do my studies at home. At the moment, I have to help Mum keep the place running. Isn't that just a little bit more important, though? Mum says it's necessary to do both because it builds character. She says a proper worker is dutiful. That's how you get ahead in life. You succeed. There's stress and unease behind these words. She's reciting etiquette. How's the business going? Mum says it's peachy. She was a little afraid at first. There's talk about this house being cursed. Behind her, the window has been boarded up. You see the boards creaking, twisting for a second, some kind of doubt in her tense shoulders. In what way? In a way that makes them say no business has ever really thrived here, sir. They all go. She's looking for the right word. Bankrupt? Exactly, but we've been doing fine so far. Sounds rather serious. I should probably look into this. Narrow your eyes and look at the creaking boards on the window. We can go into the bookstore and ask about the case, but I don't see much more to look into here. The lieutenant makes a note in his notebook. Yes, she chirps. Please do also look at our wares inside. The postcards and board games are there, sir. How does this curse manifest itself? It does not manifest itself in any way. It doesn't exist. I liked it better when we were talking about whether it's appropriate to stand out in the freezing weather. But Cam, the plasmic manifestations. No such thing. The lieutenant stands at your side, stern and serious. The girl looks back and forth between you two. Anything else you wanted to talk about? These other businesses? Nothing really, sir. Mum doesn't allow me to sneak around in the back rooms of the cellar. She looks a bit disappointed. I don't really know what's there. Stroke her chin. Enough about the curse for now. What is this crime business? Crime fiction is about murders or burglaries or things like that. And the work of policemen or private detectives who's trying to solve a crime and catch the criminals. I get it. Crime, murder gets the people going. And it's kind of like a puzzle too. You can guess who the criminal is or how the good guys are going to catch him. I'm a policeman myself, by the way. You don't look much like a policeman. She examines you as if to find something policeman-like. Okay, well, what does a cop look like then? Didn't mean to offend, sir. Sorry, it's just you don't look like Dick Mullen. She points to a book cover on which you see a strapping Vespertine officer. He stands grimly over the body of a dead woman. Used to be exactly like him, then I decided to live a little. You know, nobody actually looks like the guy in the pictures. That's just a stupid fantasy of a man. It's not your body that's important in police work anyway. It's your point of your head. Look at that guy. I'll never be as good as him. I had other questions. That's not your body that's important. It's your head, yes. No, your resilience. Grit, a total disregard for personal safety. You gotta take the pain. This Mullen guy looks like he'd run to his mom. He ain't got no balls. He looks at the cover. Pain threshold. Maybe say things. No, bad pain threshold. She looks at the cover illustration and frowns. That's a bit childish. Dick with no balls. Bam. Mullen's no real deal. He's got nothing on me. Nah, it's too much. I don't want to say that to a little girl. Nah, fuck it. Let's go. Obviously, sir. She smiles mischievously. He's just a fictional character. No match for you. Maybe you can show me some real police books, sir? Like in the books? The cover image of Dick Mullen seems to stare at you with harsh disapproval. Okay, I'm going to deduce something now. Composure, high chance of success, 83%. The girl keeps her hands folded, hidden. Why is that? Why do you keep your hands folded? What do you mean, sir? She looks wary. She knows where this is going. You don't need to be worried. I'm here to help. She looks around anxiously. Her hands remain folded in front of her. She doesn't want to show them. The lieutenant stands by, looking at the two of you with little interest. A facade of true professionalism, he is far more intrigued by the situation than his poise reveals. It's okay. She brings out her reddened hands. Her nails are frayed, nearly chewed down to the flesh. You bite your nails. And you knew this from me keeping my hands folded. She shoots you a suspicious glance. There were a few other hints. Well, that proves nothing. Anyone could do an easy deduction like that. Her eyes flash with defiance. She's not impressed. Want more? I bet I can figure out why you bite your nails. I got a few reasons in mind. She nods, half provocative, half enthusiastic. You're uptight because of your mother and the pressure she's putting on you. Rats have been nibbling on your fingers, child labor and dismal working conditions. Chewing on nails means you're recycling your body material. Intense dedication to the way of business, there's no riches without sacrifice. Your mom's been putting too much pressure on you. Dismay flickers in her eyes. Maybe so, sir, she sighs. I know it's a bad habit and I shouldn't. Either way, another ace deduction by the #1 detective in town. It was okay, sir. She's still got a rebellious streak. There's more than that can be achieved here. Ask her to do the same. Think so? Fine. Do better. You think so? Fine. Do better. Deduce something about me. You're quite sober, she snaps back quickly. The lieutenant does not flinch at the comment. He does not flinch even a little bit. He's intensely not flinching. It takes effort. How do you know I'm usually not? Because you usually aren't. Yeah, about that. And I'm having a grand time. I sure hope you are. She rubs her red nose. There she stands, swaying on her feet, assaulted by the early spring breeze. She smiles at you. The whole situation feels familiar somehow. Who are these famous people? Oh, kings and queens and generals of old, or artists, or writers, or musicians, those kind of people. There's usually something extraordinary about them. She scratches her cold reddened cheek and continues, I can't talk hard. Bleh. I think that's why people read them. To find the secrets of their fame. It seems like most people who read those books fail to get more famous from reading them. Reading those doesn't make the reader more famous, does it? But it does make the famous people more famous. She smiles gleefully. These famous people sound like a bunch of dorks. Anna's expression remains ever so helpful, but she doesn't say anything. Never mind. I had nothing else to say. The romance ones, type of book where there's a rich lady and she has to choose between the good man and the bad man. She smiles at the thought, perhaps imagining herself in that situation. Or there could be a story about a poor lady getting a rich man. It's about a man and lady business there. What about when everybody's poor? There's really not a proper romance story. It's more like everyday life. Sometimes you have to write about real things. Not in romance books. These are about nice and pretty people, and everyone's happy in the end. What about when both the men are bad? Those aren't very common. You can't have a choice between bad and bad. Nobody wants to read a story like that. But what if it's written really well? Well, maybe then it's fine. Maybe it's a lady, then decides not to pick either, because she doesn't need a bad man. That'd be interesting. What about a book where the man and lady business doesn't work out at all? Haven't read many of those. Maybe you should ask Mum. Yeah? You think she has one about an excruciatingly painful breakup? Don't think there's a romance story if the main characters break up, though. She pauses, trying to figure out the appropriate answer. No, think about it. One where they plunge into a torrid spiral of pain and recrimination, only it's really long and drawn out, scarred for life. Phantom limb. I don't know. You take this blossom like a pain flower. It drags on you for years with no resolution in sight. Pain threshold, stop stealing my words. Each of you filling with resentment and bitterness for having ruined each other's lives. She shifts and sways on her feet, looking confused and uncomfortable. Each of you tearing at the other's innards, leaving a gaping emptiness, a vacuum heart that still hurts ceaselessly. Sorry, sir, I don't know how to help you. Don't need help, I need a real book that tells me how it is, not this drivel. Sorry, sir, I'm still little? She stumbles on her words. Don't worry. Got a bit carried away. What about a poor man getting rich, lady? It happens, but usually the guy gets rich in the process. Or should actually be rich himself, but has lost his family property unjustly. Like during the revolution or something. I see. Those are unhappy books for most of the pages. People sad about what they have lost, but then it all turns out just fine in the end. That's enough for now. See you around. I need to not die.
Hi, Ace Detective. Are you here for more books?
I believe in you 28%. I was wrong to believe in you 28%. I will return later. Because I can't not poke things. Oh god, the recording's an hour and a half. I'm sorry. Making a cut.